Who needs orange?
Meet Brent Anderson, A-League team manager and resident Mr. Fix-It for the Newcastle Jets. In many respects, he's the heartbeat of this club, with no job too big or too small.
I think I came back from training one day and found him sitting in the corner of the office printing tickets or doing something with membership. So I asked the question of the CEO, who's the little funny kid in the corner, and he said, oh, he's a work experience kid, be nice to him, all that sort of stuff. So I had a quick chat to him, and it turns out he liked football, and I said, well, I could do with a hand. I was a football manager at the time. I said I could do with a hand. He could come help me out. So he came over, started working with me, and he was actually very good. A bit OCD, which is always handy if you're a gear steward, kit manager. So he came over to the football side, saved him from the ticketing world.
Deansy hopefully saw my work ethic, and that's how he asked me to help out with him in the football department. I owe everything pretty much to Deansy as the head coach now, and a great decision by the club to see someone that I started with 13 years ago get the opportunity.
After finishing school, Brent started studying accounting. It was during this period he began volunteering his time to the club. 13 years on, and Brent has become so integral to the organisation, it's difficult to imagine what life would be like without him, be it for the day-to-day operations or purely for the banter.
Everyone obviously knows him as Brent Anderson, but on the outside, on the inside, he's got quite a few nicknames.
Brent Anderson, well, I've nicknamed him the glue at this club because over the years he has certainly kept the ship running smooth.
He goes by Frank, by Brentford, by Frankenstein, by there's probably another 10. The Frank one, I think I gave him that because he has some mannerisms of Frank Spencer for the older audience, but he's a funny little man and he has his little ways of doing what he does, and he reminded me of Frank Spencer, so I called him Frank one day and he didn't like it, so it stuck.
Well, it stuck, so it obviously means that I hated it. I don't understand the reference. I thought it was a lookalike, but I don't know, the mannerisms apparently, so.
Jokes aside, Brent starts each day at 6 a.m, prepping long before the players arrive for training. He's also in charge of logistics, booking travel, accommodation, and responsible for cleaning and organising the team kit.
He's someone who, for me, epitomises what excellence means, and that's what we're striving to achieve here at the club, and everything he does is so detailed, it's of the top standard, and he really sets the bar for what the culture should be at this club.
Probably gets here about 6:30 in the morning. Everything lined up beautifully, socks, undies, towels, t-shirts, shorts, all perfect, numbers up, get all the players' boots out, make sure they're facing the right way. He prints them, he irons them, he folds them, he hangs them on on coat hangers. He has them all lined up from 1 to 40, whatever the numbers are, even while they're just in storage. So again, like it's part of the job is to be super organised, and whilst training's going on, he's in the laundry getting everything ready for the next day. So he's 24 hours in advance, which is a good thing. And then once training's over, he swings back into action, picks up all the bibs, cones, dirty washing, straight back in the laundry room. And then in the meantime, walking around making funny little comments to people about whether they're doing their job well enough or not, which is always amusing.
Oh, that's lovely, Bryce. Just replace your divot, please, mate. I'll tell you what, 4 hours to coughs with Bryce Johnson. Deaf in the left ear. Last day of holidays, isn't it? I can see Nigel in the facility, and if he's talking about the time I lost his boots, I didn't lose his boots, and I'm still not apologising. I'll get it, Gus.
Brent is someone who is arguably one of the most dedicated guys in the game, someone who is extremely detailed, probably drives us insane a little bit with how detailed he is, but most of the boys will admit that, you know, he is the guy that makes our job so much easier. He takes the pressure off us with just being so OCD with our gear, you know, with our operations about when we travel, and he makes life generally as a footballer so much easier.
Well, we're pretty good. Only thing I've got to do is pick up the big bench jackets from the dry cleaners. All the kits and stuff are set out the night before. The boys leave their boots and stuff, so I just fix them after training, but pumping up footballs, filling up water bottles.
For me as a coach, he's super important because I rely on him to make sure you know, everything's set properly for training, make sure that buses and flights are sorted out to make sure on game day that everything runs smoothly.
I'm on the bench game. It's pretty easy, mate. Just get to watch football for a couple of hours, to be honest. Ali! You in a bib? Who else is in a bib? Just got to clean up. This is the last part of this drill. Cheers, Rendog. Thanks, Gazalenko. You got it. Before the shooting drill, I'll clean up all the discs, get the waters in, and set up for finishing.
As in every industry, each job comes with its stresses, and Brent's is a rather unique one.
I think I saw Leary give his shirt away as soon as he did it. In the back of my mind, I was like, oh, Frankie's not going to be happy with that. Because he's got to find another shirt, he's got to get the letters, he's got to get the numbers and get that all turned around. Yeah, it's always an issue. I think that's the one thing in his week that he worries about the most, other than getting on a plane and his fear of flying. But I think players swapping shirts and him having to turn around in 3, 4, 5 days a new one is probably one of his greatest fears in life.
He was someone who was a dedicated supporter of the club, and someone who then you genuinely knows has the club's best interests at heart. And to get pulled in by Deansy and come full circle and work with Deansy now, he's been nicknamed the Glue for a good reason. To
go from a work experience kid to someone that makes the club tick from day to day, it's a pretty impressive rise to fame and fortune for him. And again, we all appreciate everything he does. As much as we have a good laugh with him, we love him, and hopefully he's here for another 15 years or so, and he'll obviously be here long after all of us are gone. I think he'll be here till the day we lock him out and don't let him back in.